Hey drummers, I'm Brad Schlueter. In this video I want to take a common funky rock groove and turn it into a cool linear groove. And from that point I want to take that linear groove and develop it 5 or 6 steps further. Now a linear pattern is really just one where you play one note at a time and you're never layering notes on top of each other. So you're not hitting a bass drum and a hi-hat together or a snare drum and a hi-hat together. Now the groove we're going to start with is a funky rock groove that has backbeats on 2 and 4 on the snare drum, 8th notes on the hi-hat, and the bass drum pattern has a kick drum on 1, the of 2, and the and of 3. That groove sounds like this. Now the first step to creating a linear groove out of something like that is to kind of get rid of all those hi-hat notes. So we're going to leave just the kick drum and the snare drum pattern. That sounds like this. Now there are hundreds of ways to create linear patterns out of a kick and snare groove like that, but probably the easiest one is to simply fill in all the hi-hat notes between those kicks and snares with one of our hands on the hi-hat. Now the linear approach I'll be taking in this video is not that easy. It's a lot more involved, in particular because instead of using just 3 limbs, I'll be using all 4. So I will be pedaling the hi-hat shut for a few notes in this groove. Now if you've always wanted to develop your 4-way coordination to a higher level, I'd recommend starting now. And starting with a groove like this is a really great way to do it because it's a common pattern. And once you get the pattern down, you'll be able to use it in lots of different ways. And I'll show you a handful of them in this video. So the basic pattern we're going to work up to is going to be this one. I think this groove sounds really cool, and one reason I really like it is that I'm using that pedal hi-hat effect. If you're like me, you probably would need to break that groove down into little pieces, learn those before you combine them and play the entire thing. For this next clip, I'm going to show you how I broke down this groove and built it up step by step. If you're new here, I create drum videos on a wide range of topics. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. Now let's put all those little parts together till we're playing the entire groove. I'm going to first play the groove nice and slow, and then I'm going to gradually and incrementally go faster until I get it up to like a gig-worthy speed. One of the easiest ways to make your grooves a little bit more interesting is to create a variation on the groove and then introduce that every other or every 4th bar or so to create a longer pattern. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tom note on the of 1 on the high tom in the 2nd bar, and then I'm going to play that same note but this time on the low tom in the 4th bar. So I'll be creating a 4-bar pattern. Now the groove's going to sound like this. Now let's take our basic groove and create a more interesting tom melody. Another option is to revoice this pattern onto the hi-hat and the ride bell. Now, the sticking isn't going to change. Really just where we place our hands is the only thing that's changing. Now we can add toms to the cymbal-based pattern as well. I'm going to borrow one of the tom patterns we used earlier to create this variation. Another option is to combine our linear groove with a simpler beat. I'll be adding a triplet at the end of the bar of the simple pattern to introduce the linear phrase. That sounds like this. I hope you can incorporate some of these linear elements and four-way coordination ideas into your own playing. It's a great way to spice up your grooves and also develop your coordination to a higher level, and it's a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.